And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting day. Oh my god, as I actually don't have my cams on. Oh, one moment. To another exciting day of the OSC mid-season playoffs, number 1, day 6. It has been quite a journey indeed, going over all of these days, over all of these games. It's been a long tournament. Pretty long tournament, and we're like halfway through. There's still so much left to go. For those who are maybe unfamiliar, the OSC, or the online sports championships, as you can see there, OSC, they are an organization that host events, online events, over the course of the year. A lot of them, they're partnered with a lot of tournaments as well, like our own tournaments, even including, I think they're even partnered with KSL, now that I think about it. So if there's an online event out there, it's most likely partnered with OSC, which means that all of these online events, they all gather points. Well, players, they gather points over the course of the year, and then they are invited to a mid-season playoffs and an annual playoffs at the end of the year as well for this big, massive tournament. This big, massive bracket is double elimination. It's huge. It's insane. Let's have a look at it now. We've been going through so many of these games over the past couple of weeks. We've been going for around a broadcast a week, basically, catching up on everything that has been happening. And oh boy, yeah, we're kind of nearing the end in a way. We're getting there. Starting from the top, we do have MaxPax. It's going to be going up against HonMonO. We will be covering that first, so don't you worry. MaxPax versus HonMonO is going to be live on the screen momentarily. Winner of that goes up against Nightmare. The winner of that moves up against Spirit as well, here towards the round 5, towards the quarterfinals. Actually, scrolling down a little bit further, we do have Solar going up against Geralt, and we have Eric going up against Special. The winner the winner moves up against Skillus in the next round. I remember this. Okay. Oh, God, so much has been happening. So we have had a couple of updates here. A couple of upsets as well going through this tournament. Skillus did take down Bjorn 2-1, knocking him to the lower bracket. So already one of the favorites gets knocked down. And another big one was Dark. Another big one was here. We were able to cast this last week as well. Young Yakov did 2-1 Dark, knocking Dark down to the lower bracket as well. So both Dark and Bjorn are in the elimination rounds, which is terrifying for all the other players down there. it's terrifying, Bobby. Oh my god. The other favorites, of course, are obviously MaxPax. MaxPax is up here. He's looking to make a deep run. We have Spirit, who's been on fire as well. Was looking a little bit shaky against Wayne, but again, has made it quite far into the tournament already. When it comes to the elimination rounds, still plenty of them to come. There's still a lot of matches, still a lot of players technically alive in the tournament. But slowly but surely, they're being knocked out one after the other. Bratok gets knocked out, Nikorek gets knocked out, Jomek as well, Exo Striker. The big names still haven't played yet, though. We can see that Bjorn is down here and Dark is down here as well. And they're still waiting for their own matches. So, as you can imagine, it's a little bit daunting. Like when I scroll over, it's like, oh my god, like there's just so many games to be played. But we're getting there. We're slowly working through everything, and we're getting near the end. I want to say maybe there's like 4 more days of broadcast, maybe 4 or maybe 5 more days until we get towards the end. I don't really know who's going to be covering that. I think at the moment we've been alternating broadcast on the CranKy Ducklings and broadcast over on Dave Tester's channel. I think we've been alternating back and forth. But if I'm not mistaken, Wardy is also typically the caster who covers the finals, as he does have close ties with OSC, has been casting online events for a very long time, as you can imagine. So we'll keep you guys updated with where that will be taking place. Until then, though, it's time to sink our teeth into this. We have 7 matches for us tonight. 6 best of 3s and 1 best of 5 is going to be available. And oh boy, I think the most exciting thing for me is that we get the old maps. We were casting OSC King of the Hill last night. And we did see some of the old maps, but really only Jagannatha. It was like the current map pool and Jagannatha, and that's it. That's all we really had. And I love Jagannatha, of course, but I want to see the other maps. I want to see Death Aura. I want to see Lightshade. For those wondering, just like OSC King of the Hill, the OSC mid-season playoffs, they also host, or they also allow 3 older maps from the years gone by. That is Jagannatha, Death Aura, and Lightshade. So those are also going to be sprinkled in throughout all of these matches, which is always exciting to see. Have some fun memories and some PTSD traumatic memories. It's aye, that's what it is. Not like this, Papi, not like this. Oh. But here we go. We are going to jump into this. As our first matchup is going to be MaxPax versus HonMonO. Oh, let's go, Papi. And I'm excited because HonMonO, we've had like 2 or 3 broadcasts so far where HonMonO's in the bracket, but we miss him. Like we miss him in the bracket. Like we don't get to cast him. I haven't casted any HonMonO in far too long. But that all changes here and now. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. Is that the real cards? Yes, that is the real cards. Fun fact, we were actually casting cards last night. Cards popped off. Cards took down Wayne and God, not Night Phoenix. God, I'm forgetting, Papi. Hold on. He took down Wayne and 3 other players. Oh, was I accidentally type in the wrong number here? 1 second. Last night he took down Wayne, Quanta, and Geralt, and Arrowfire as well. Like, cards popped off, and he took down some pretty big players, not gonna lie. So he has been on fire recently, and hopefully we'll be able to cast him later on tonight. But for the time being, here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Death Aura, we have the Danish Protoss player representing Psystorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Death Aura, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player residing in the land of Japan, representing K10 Esports. It is HonMonO. The most honorable of all monorables, and even though MaxPax is obviously the favorites coming into this series, he's been on fire recently, he's been taking down some big names, he's been raising his Alikilak score. He's up against the man himself. He's up against the favorite, really. HonMonO, the most aggressive Terran player in all of South Korea and Japan as well, to be fair. Especially in TVP. I do think TVP is his bread and butter. This is his forte. Already he does start up this depot just to make sure that the probe scout does not slip into the main base to keep his build hidden. And what will his build be? Regardless of what it is, it's going to be all in. HonMonO by now should have a reputation, and by now MaxPax should be aware of who HonMonO is, the most honorable of all monorables. HonMonO, he is, again, just hyper aggressive in this matchup. Typically goes for 2 base all-ins, sometimes can go for some very cheesy proxies as well, but hyper aggression is what we should be expecting. He does go for more macro-oriented play against Zerg players and Terran, but specifically against Protoss, like mid-game to late game is not really in HonMonO's vocabulary against Protoss. It's not really a thing. So we'll see how this goes, as it was a double gas opener to get into a faster factory, of course. Behind this is going to be expanding here on the low ground, and I guess some of the features of the map, if maybe you are newer to the scene or maybe you just weren't laddering at the time, Death Aura is one of the older maps in the current map pool for this tournament, and it was featured back in 2021. I want to say early 2021 if I'm not mistaken. This was the first map that really flaunted a very special feature that actually became a lot more standardized as the map pools did go on. The first adept is going to try and force a cancel here, or force a delay, sorry, onto the CC, but it will be forced back. And that is the Overlord Pillar. Up until this point in the history of StarCraft, the Overlord Pillar was always at the natural base, but now for Death Aura, they introduced it here further out instead, so it made things more difficult to scout for Zerg players. And this is something that has been incorporated kind of a little bit more of this over the map pools past, and is even in the current map pool as well. So it did kind of shift the meta up a little bit. There's also these lovely speed zones in the center of the map where if you're inside it, you're faster, much faster. Oh boy. Until then, though, MaxPax is going to be going for a Stargate opener. He's going to be going into Phoenix, I imagine, setting up for Phoenix Colossi, but we'll see where that does lead us. Meanwhile, the first Adept does shade on into the mineral line, will kill an SCV, but CC is done, and the Adept will be able to force at least delayed mining here at the natural base. At the same time, though, the Reapers and Hellions, they run on past the army. I imagine going to be trying to get into the mineral line. So far, we do see going to be cleaned up by these Adepts. But at least they're able to get a full scatter. They do confirm the Stargate, they do confirm the Phoenixes. Not the best use of these units, unfortunately. As you can imagine, they could have helped deal with this Adept earlier. Oh. As, yeah, that's 2 Hellions and 2 Reapers for not too much value here for HonMonO. He's still got 1 Reaper out of the map, but alas, it is racing its way back home. So map control is in favor of MaxPax, especially because he's continuing Phoenix production. Behind this, he is going into the Robo, so he's setting up for Phoenix Colossi. It does mean that he's going to be vulnerable as he takes his 3rd base. There's going to be a period here where he has 1 Colossi, maybe 2 Colossi, but not too much on the ground, and he'll be vulnerable to a push. Speaking of HonMonO, he's just setting up here on these 3 Raxes. What's interesting to me is that he hasn't gone for an add-on on these Raxes. He's just been prioritizing Marine production for the time being. Interesting. So he has foregone Stim for faster tank production instead. Like, he's already got 2 tanks, he's about to have 3. This is going to be very interesting. I don't know how I feel about this. So when we do move out across the map and when we pull the boys, we're going to have a lot of tanks, but I don't know if the anti-air, if the Vikings and Marines are going to be enough to really contest against these Phoenixes and stop them from CCing the tanks. As more units are going to get picked off one after the other. MaxPax just kind of having his way with the production of HonMonO, and HonMonO, there we go, he's pulling the boys. At least some of them, not all of them, to be fair. As he moves out across the map. With those workers, he can repair his units. He can, as 1 Phoenix goes down, he can throw down some bunkers as well. But this is an expensive loss. Another tank is going to be going down. HonMonO, he's rallying everything across the map. What do we have at home to defend? We have an Immortal. We're about to have 2 Immortals. We do have the Bay, but again, we can't quite get into Colossi production yet. If we did, we may just die. We do have our reinforcements going across the map, and we are lacking splash damage, but we have the high ground. We have Immortals as well. Oh, the SCVs already getting annihilated here. And again, HonMonO is very committed with this push. He's got Vikings to help him out, but again, there are just so many Phoenixes. That first Colossus is on the way. Are we going to have a bunker thrown down? Bold move. I don't think it's going to finish, unfortunately. Yes, it does get focused down by the Immortals. Tanks are going to slowly leapfrog forward. We do have the overcharge as well, but we have the lift off. There's just too much Protoss on the ground. Every single tank is going to get lifted up. And the Marines are doing what they can, but alas, they can't really hold a candle to this Colossi. It looks like it will still survive as well. GG gets called. And MaxPax will take game number 1. Oh, GG. HonMonO trying to pull off that essentially 2-base all-in. I can see the ideas behind it. I was gonna say I think it works best against. I think it was catered towards a Phoenix opener because of the Viking production, obviously. But I don't know. Like, it feels like it's so difficult to keep hidden. Because the Phoenixes have free reign, they scatter everything. MaxPax saw it coming a mile away, and he could just chip away at it from the very beginning. Yeah, it was just a little bit difficult to really pull off in the end, and MaxPax was respecting it. I think ideally, if you pull this build off, you're up against like 1 Colossus, and the Protoss player wasn't making Immortals, for example. But MaxPax, he took it seriously. He was starting Immortal production. He was more than prepared for that push, and with that, he takes game number 1, and now we're going to be getting ready for game number 2. Ooh. Coming back to the current map pool from Death Aura, we're jumping over into Royal Blood. Bring back Zelnaga Caverns. True, Papi, true. As we are diving into our second game and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the Danish Protoss player representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player representing K10 Esports, and also hailing from the land of Japan, it is HonMonO. The most honorable of monorables. Oh, let's go. Oh. So we'll see how he does differ. His build is going to be sending out an SCV towards the right-hand side of the map already. Are we feeling... We've got one Rax back at home. Are we feeling a proxy starport? This is pretty early for a proxy starport, though, so we've got to be seeing something else. Maybe a proxy factory into proxy starport? That would make sense, but no, well, never mind. We're just going for a proxy 2-Rax, one across the map, one back at home. Oh boy, so we're going to be quite aggressive here with Reapers. MaxPax is going to go for a probe scout, and just like the last game, when he does get up this ramp, he's going to be denied entry into the main base. So this looks just... Oh my god! This looks just like game number 1 for all MaxPax knows. On top of that, this isn't your standard 2-Rax opener where you have one proxied and one back at home. We're committing. We're going full beyond. We're going for the 3rd Rax in the main base as well, so we have a 3-Rax all in. We're going to be making nothing but Reapers. Oh boy. Okay. Very HonMonO, very HonMonO. So, geez, are we even going to proxy a 4th? No, there's no shot. We'll see, we'll see. But yeah, with this, of course, the Reaper count will snowball over time. MaxPax is none the wiser. His probe does race back home. For the time being, he has a pretty standard setup. He's going for a gate cyber expand, working on his adept, working on his warp gate. Oh. Ay. And with that, he is going to be in the dark for a little bit. His first adept is going to be zooming across the map just to get some scouting information. It's going to be on HonMonO to try and hide these Reapers. I don't think he really wants to contest against the first adept too quickly. One of them will be shown, but oh god! The first Reaper goes down. A little bit of miscontrol there from HonMonO. A little bit careless. Every single Reaper does count. Okay. I was not seeing this. I was not expecting this, Poppy, as the boys are being pulled, because of course they are, because it's HonMonO. Hey, it's not a game of HonMonO unless the boys are pulled at some point in the game itself. So let's go. Reapers are rushing across the map. Max actually responds immediately with a second shield battery. The Reapers have arrived, but the shield battery is putting in a lot of work. The boys have arrived. We do see the probes being pulled as well. How good is target firing going to be? One of these Reapers already getting very low. Oh, and he does pull back the weakened Reapers in time, but the overcharge buys enough time for a second adept, for a second shield battery as well. I would have liked the idea of this maybe bypassing the army and going into the main base, but no, we're just going head first into the natural base. We're killing every single worker, which is nice, but we need to get these adepts. Oh, and he will not. Only one adept goes down. More shield batteries finishing up. The boys are being pulled. They trap the Reapers. The Reapers do get trapped for a moment there. The Oracle comes out, and the Oracle is going to be able to clean everything up. The Stargate opener, MaxPax is more than prepared for this. And HonMonO is still stuck making more Reapers. I mean, the Oracle is going to run out of energy. The Oracle has run out of energy, to be fair. But trying to DPS past all these shield batteries is just not going to work out. We have a second Oracle. We're about to have a third Oracle as well. HonMonO trying to do what he can. Oh. Aye. But every single Reaper does get taken out. GG gets called. Good luck gets called as well, as MaxPax will take the series 2-0. GG, well played. MaxPax comes in as the favorite, of course, and moves on to the next round. My condolences to HonMonO. I appreciate that he came in prepared, clearly, and he came in with some very specific builds. Unfortunately, especially in game 2, the execution wasn't fully there. MaxPax able to react so damn quickly. Like MaxPax, I think this is just a really rough matchup for HonMonO, because MaxPax is like known for his defensive play. Like he is the defensive Protoss player. So many people try to all in him. So many people try to punish his greed, and he's just so good at recognizing what corners he can cut, what corners he can't cut, and just get away with as much as we can while also, you know, defending quite well. So very well done. GG, well played. MaxPax moves on to next round. Oh boy, and I believe he moves on to face a Nightmare in the round of 16, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check. Yep, there we go. All the way at the top. Do you see MaxPax is going to be moving on to face Nightmare? We won't be casting that series tonight. That will be held for a later date. We're kind of done with that portion of the bracket, but we're going to scroll down a little bit here. We have another series. A very special series. Oh, let's go, Papi. The man of the hour himself. We're going to be covering Eric versus Special.